What's up, besties?
It's time to spill the tea.
Welcome back to another episode of The Voice Messages. A very festive episode at that.
Very festive. Look how
If you
big my
couldn't
ears
tell.
are.
Santa baby. We got a little, hold on. Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, there he is. He's big. Like he takes up
He's
your whole
big.
side.
Yeah, this is a big sweatshirt.
He's
We're in
cute.
it. We're in it. We're in
Mine's
our
a
festive.
dog. Like a pug
I love
sort of
him.
thing. Yeah,
So cute.
he is eating cookies. Yeah. He's a vibe. I wear him every year. So
I love that. I love that
there's
for you.
that.
We
Yeah.
are being very festive today because it is a week before Christmas and the holidays, and it's our last episode of season 1. And I just want to give some snaps to us because I feel really good about the 10 episodes that we've put out for season 1. I can't believe that we're already done and ending the freaking year. It's kind of crazy.
I know. I mean, it was a little bit of a clusterfuck at sometimes with like technology.
Totally.
Guys, if you only knew what we have gone through technology-wise to get this podcast up and running, it is unreal. But here we
Yeah.
are, and we plan on bringing season 2 back as an elevated version of season 1.
Totally.
So be
A lot of
prepared. We've been
rebranding.
Yeah, we are planning on a rebrand. So keep an eye out for that. And let's get into it. Today we're going to do a 2023 Wrapped because 2023 was like a dumpster fire, but then like a
Yeah.
glorified recycling bin. I don't know how else to describe it.
Wait, I love that. I love that. That's a really
Maybe
good.
like one of those.
That's really good.
Maybe like one of those like electronic trash cans that like compresses the trash for you and then
Yes.
takes itself out. Like it was like kind of one of those moments, but also like literally like the trash was on fire.
Yeah. I think there was some really high highs and some very low lows. I feel like the beginning of my year started super fucking low, and then I gradually came up. I'm feeling good right now, but
Yeah.
there was a lot. We have a lot to unpack for each month.
Yeah. And I definitely feel like it was either one or the other. Like it was extremely high or extremely low for me, at
Totally.
least. Like
Yeah.
there was like no in between. Like I can look back on other years and be like, yeah, nothing significant happened sort of thing.
Yeah.
But this year, like I'm like, holy shit, what a mess.
Yep. No, I totally agree with you. So getting into 2023 Wrapped, our version. Do you want to kick it off with January and give us your monthly recap there?
Yes. And I have my notes out. When I say that we planned for this episode like no tomorrow, like this is the most we've ever planned. Like this is like
We have it.
we're
ready.
We're going month by month, baby. All right. January, I had just gotten engaged in December.
Crazy that it's I mean, it's kind of been a year, but like I feel like so much has happened with your wedding and
yeah, it'll be
planning
a year and like a week from now.
Yeah.
Which is
wild.
Insane. So last January, I had just gotten engaged. Really weird fucking time with my family. I don't know if you remember, but I like basically told my family we're getting married, and they were kind of just like, well, this isn't like a good time because like my dad had also just had like a really bad like accident. He fell in the yard, he hit his head. He was
Oh
in
my
the
God.
hospital.
That feels like forever ago.
Doesn't it feel like so long ago?
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Not to interrupt you. I just had to think of that.
No, he fell, he hit his head. And then like, and I had just gotten engaged. So it was just like all over the place.
Yeah.
My dog is going insane.
Jenny wants to make herself known. Hi, Jenny. It's not about you right now.
I know. She's like, end of 2020. Oh my gosh.
Wrap it up, Jenny. Wrap it up. You know, guys, this is what happens. This is it. She knows. She knows when you're going off and you're coming back on. But this is what happens when we're just keeping it real. We're keeping it real for everyone. It's fine.
Okay, I think we're good. I just screamed at the top of my lungs at her. It's all love. So I had just gotten engaged, really weird time with my family. And then I started to really get into fitness, and not just because I was like getting married, but because I got into fitness, I would say last October of 2022, I started
Yep.
working out again because I went on like this whole workout hiatus for
Yeah.
like a year and a half. Like I was like, I'm stop working out. I'm all set with it. Like I had a really bad relationship with it. And then I started experimenting going to spin classes because I was like, I did like going to spin. Like I liked going when I did go
Yeah.
to classes, and I wanted a way to connect with other people. So I went in October only once a week. And then by January, I started going like 2 or 3 times a week. And I just like upped it because I'm like, I need an outlet, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that was
Totally.
my January.
Nice. And how did you feel?
That's my
Like, did you feel
January.
like you learned anything? Like, what's your recap of January? Any little
Dude,
tidbit?
I don't like, did I learn anything in January? I don't know. I guess it's just like cherish every moment sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I know that there is well, no, let me back up. What I learned in January is that you can feel sad and happy at the same time. Like I
Ooh, I
was
like that.
experiencing two parallels at the same time. I was really
Yes.
devastated about my dad, but I'm so excited about my wedding
Yeah. That's
or
so
like
good.
being
I like that.
engaged.
Yeah, I like that because you can experience joy and sadness at the same time and not feel guilty for enjoying
Yeah,
both. Well, you're not enjoying sadness,
right. And
but
it's
for going through the
no,
motions.
I know, but it's like usually never one or the other. Like you're
Yeah.
always like whenever I look back on like big events, like there's always something else going on that it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
No, but I
So
think it's
it's
important to
you can
enjoy both sides. Like,
yeah.
don't feel guilty for
All right.
having joy and then being sad at the same time.
Correct.
Um, okay, so my January, so I feel like it's so cliche. It's like, oh, new year, new me, starting off my fitness journey. But I remember I started my 10K steps a day journey in January and I started
Oh
documenting
yeah.
that on TikTok. This was like my old TikTok because I deleted my TikTok a couple months ago and just like said, fuck it, we're starting fresh. But I started documenting my journey on TikTok.
That's
Um,
so Pisces of you.
yeah. I was like, new year,
Just
new
to
me.
say
It's
fuck it.
so good. Yeah, fuck it. That didn't last
No,
very
but like
long.
a real quick pause is that with you and like all the Pisces in my life, like
Yeah.
if something isn't working for you, you just say like fuck it, I'm gonna start over, I'm gonna delete it, I'm gonna start from scratch. Or
Yes.
like new year, new me. You're like,
Yep.
here's the date, starting from scratch. Like it's always like
Done.
this big like this is it.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yes.
never like
Yeah.
let's wean into anything.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I totally that's my mentality. It's like I'm either done or I'm all in or I'm all out. That's my mentality.
right.
Um and then I also was mentally preparing myself for my husband's new career change at that point. Steve was starting to switch careers and do
Seems
something
so
totally
long ago.
different so long ago. So I guess my take, so nothing crazy in January. I think I was trying to focus on myself and my fitness journey, trying to kind of like share on TikTok, like where the fuck do I want to go with that? Also mentally preparing myself that, my husband was going to start training for 6 months and I wouldn't be able to see him. So like that was like mentally kind of draining on me. So I don't know. I think my takeaway was just I don't even really know if I have like a takeaway. I feel like it was just very chaotic. Like I feel like my January was very like I was trying to find
Yeah.
myself and trying to figure out like how to balance. January was trying to balance the good and like the sad. Like I was sad that my husband was going to be like leaving me for 6 months, but I also had to
Say
like
like
find
I was
joy. Yeah, I feel like
we were
those
both kind of like in
parallels.
that
Yeah.
yeah, weird parallels and kind of transitioning to February. I don't know, are you all set with that? Because
Yeah, I'm
it's
good with January.
funny that
Bye.
you say that like you feel like January you were in limbo because February was really like my limbo month
Yeah.
for me.
Yep.
In February, we officially booked a destination wedding. We said
Yep.
fuck it because of course I naturally got to planning right away because I'm a Virgo.
Yep.
And so I went through, like, I contacted, I would say like 50 vendors, and I could
Yeah.
not find one that was affordable and like the most affordable on the knot for a venue. It was like, yeah, we need a $25,000, like, you know, like
Crazy
fee that doesn't
deposit.
include
Yeah.
anything. And
Yep.
I was just like, dude, like, we don't have that kind of money. Like, I'm trying to have a wedding under 25,
Yeah.
even under 15. Like, I was
Yep.
like, this is under 10K. Like, I'm like, no way. So we booked our wedding venue. And then it was kind of just like we were in limbo. Like, I remember having conversations with my friends being like, hey, would you come to a destination wedding sort of thing? Like,
Yeah.
very weird time. My dad was like still like in the hospital, but he was transitioning to like full-time care at like an assisted living home sort of situation, like rehab
Yep.
center. So it was just like a limbo month. And like, what did I learn? Say fuck it and just do what you want to do with your wedding.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Okay, so what was your February like? February.
Okay. February.
February. Oh my gosh, I'm having trouble saying it. What was your February
February.
like?
The R is silent.
I know,
Okay, so
it's challenging for me,
February is my birthday month. So
naturally.
celebrated my 29th birthday in New York City for the weekend, which was so fun. I love February because hello, I love myself. Conceited.
Did you go with
Um,
Steve? Or no, you went
no,
with
I went
Olivia.
with my best friend Olivia. Yep. Shout out
Yeah,
to Olivia if
okay.
you're listening to this. She's my ride or die birthday buddy, and she will do anything and everything with me. So I got to give snaps for Liv. Um, but then again, another parallel for me, the joy of celebrating myself and my birthday and doing something fun, but then also sad because the weekend that I came back from my birthday was the weekend that Steve left for the academy for 6 months. So it was like a weird,
Oh wow.
yeah, it was like a weird feeling. I was
I
like, I'm so
forgot.
excited. I know. I was very happy for February. And like, again, I just love celebrating and stuff. But it was also like, I'm mentally preparing myself again for Steve to leave for 6 months where I don't see him or I only see him on the weekends. And it was like, whatever. So yeah, like again, another parallel. Like I'm experiencing joy, but I'm also sad, but I'm going through the motions of both. So that brings us to
Yeah,
March.
yeah. March. I was still working at my old job. And I was
Damn.
traveling a lot for work.
This is blowing my mind.
Isn't
I'm
it?
like,
I know.
the fact of going back to like all the months is just like, this feels like lifetimes ago. But, anyways,
I know.
sorry. I'm
Well, I
like,
feel like ever since 2020, I have no concept of like time.
same.
But like this year in particular feels like so long.
Yeah,
So long. Okay.
I agree.
So March, I was traveling for my old job a lot. It was starting to become really toxic, and so I started
Yep.
to look for new roles in March. It took me 3 months to land my current role, which I really really love. But yeah, it was really hard because I was really stressed out at my old job. I was mentally not doing great.
Yep.
I was working insane amounts of hours and just overwhelmed all the time. And then we went on a cruise. I do have to say that we went on a vacation this year, which seems
Yep.
again so long ago. We went away
Yeah.
for eight
I
days. We had
know.
that
It's,
planned like a year and a half in advance. We went away. It was great. Matt actually surprised me with an engagement photo shoot in St.
oh, love
Thomas
that.
because in 2019 we went on our first like kind of vacation together. Well, no, we had gone on vacation before that, but we went to on like a cruise and we
Yep.
went to St. Thomas and fell in love with the island. We were just like, this is our like one of our favorite places in the world is down in those islands. And so
Yeah.
Matt, I mean, clearly I'm getting married in St. Lucia, so
Yeah.
I love those
You
islands.
love the islands.
Um, I just love it. St. Lucia, St. Croix. Oh God, they're so beautiful. And so we're getting we've got our engagement photos and yeah, I mean, what I'm gonna learn about March is that I don't love my hair short. I
Okay.
cut my
That's
hair
okay.
too short
Yep.
last October.
October.
And in
Yeah.
March it was still pretty short. Which by the way, that's a whole other story. That was an accidental like chop, okay? I
Yeah.
wanted a trim and this lady cut my hair up to my earlobes, okay? So the
I
engagement
feel like
photos, I hate my
we've
hair.
all had that moment. Like I've also had my hair super short like that when I've cried. That was back in 7th grade, so it was a little bit more traumatic for me, but not to lessen your trauma around it. But I feel like we've all had some like awkward short ass haircut bob style, like
Yeah.
just like what the fuck
When we're
happened
not
moment.
going for it. And trust me,
Yes.
like I have some friends that rock a fucking bob and
Yeah.
they are slaying it. I look like a really bad version of Dora the Explorer. Okay.
Yeah.
All of these photos of me, like my hair looks like so much thinner. Not only that, is like the whole haircut was fucking uneven. Okay.
Yeah,
So in
yeah.
all my engagement photos, my hair is down, which I'm like, why did I wear
I'm
it down?
sorry. My
I
cat
hated
is
my
being
hair.
so dramatic. I'm so sorry
I
if
know
you can
he's
hear
crawling
him.
on you.
I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway,
I just
yeah,
saw
he
him fly
jumped.
across the screen.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He jumps up to the window to the window to look outside.
I fucking hate cats. They're so like, um, this is why I don't like
Anyway,
cats, but I'm also
sorry to
allergic.
interrupt you.
If you're watching this live video, you probably just saw her cat just go across the screen. Um, but it was
SOS.
I was such a bad haircut. And I wore my hair
Yeah.
down. I hated all the photos. Um, I mean, I like the photos. Like, there's some photos I really,
Yeah.
really like, but a lot of them, like, I'm walking into the water with Matt, my hair is down. I'm like, oh my God, it looks terrible.
And it's okay. Like March was an interesting month. March for me was a very like low. I think like yeah, March was the lowest month for me personally because let's see. So Steve ended up getting into an accident from the career that he was going for, and he ended up being in the hospital for a whole week. And I don't think I've ever been more
Your
traumatized. Yeah,
cat.
he just jumped down again. He's
I'm
literally
sorry.
acting up. It's these animals are fucked. I love them to death, but like they know we're doing something and they sleep
Like,
all
where is he
goddamn
crawling
day.
from?
He jumps up on my
Where did he just
couch.
come
He
from? The
jumps up on
ceiling?
my desk, the window up here. He's jumping all over. It's like a
Oh,
jungle gym
okay.
for him. And he's flying everywhere. He's been sleeping all goddamn day on my bed. And of course, we start this podcast, and he's like, "Meow, meow,
Yeah,
mom, go fuck yourself." Yeah, thanks, Simba. I love you so much. Oh my God, he's over there now.
insanity.
Hopefully,
So
he's
yeah,
chills. So March
Steve
was,
got into the
yeah,
accident in
March,
March. It's
yeah,
crazy.
March was, yeah, it was very traumatizing for me. I think like March put into perspective a lot of things for me. I think like life is so fucking short. Like in a blink of an eye, like things can just change. And I know that sounds so cliche and it's like, oh, live every day to the
No, it's
fullest. But
so
like
true.
I just don't think like until you maybe have like gone through something where it's like, whoa, this could have turned a whole different this could have done a 180 in a bad way. You just like don't I don't know, you don't understand,
Yeah.
like, don't take every day for granted. I don't know, it was very traumatizing. Steve was in the hospital for a week. He is obviously doing much better now, but it was like, "Whoa, where do we go from here? Like, what's the next step? Like, holy shit, did this just happen?" And I also felt like in that same month, like, that was at the beginning of March, and then at the end of March, I ended up, like, repainting my whole house. I got all new furniture. I, like, decluttered. I felt like I just needed a fresh start, and I just, like, needed a clean slate. But my
Yeah.
biggest like takeaway from March was like do things that make you so happy. Like don't take life for granted. Do the damn thing. Like don't be scared. Cut people out that don't serve you. Like it just was such a turning point in my mind where I just felt like that was like, whoa, life is too fucking short. We're
Yeah.
gonna turn
I
things
mean,
around and that's it.
and he wanted that career for so long. And I remember
Yeah,
you also feeling like that secondhand sadness for him. And you
totally.
just being like, I'm so upset for him because we've worked together like as a couple to get him here
Yeah.
for this job.
Yep.
And you're like, in a blink of an eye, it was all snatched away from him, sort of
Yep.
thing.
Yeah.
And like, you're sad because you had envisioned this different life. And then you're also sad because he felt like he lost his purpose. And
Yep.
so, how long was he in the hospital for? Was it two
It
weeks?
was no, it was like a week.
Okay.
Just about a week, yeah, or a full week. And I just remember like when I found out, I you were like the first person I called, and it was like so late on like a Thursday night or whatever, and I was just like, I was like, like I couldn't envision like anything
Yeah.
positive. Like I couldn't be like, like where do we go from here? Like there was no like I don't know how to describe it. It was just such an eerie, like weird feeling of like what do we do? Like,
Yeah.
how did this happen? Like, it just, but it was a lot of rebuilding. March and April were a lot of rebuilding and just like trying to, again, like you said, it was like his passion for so long. And we had prepared for this for so long, it felt like, and it was finally happening. And then, like, all of a sudden, it was just taken away from him, not by like
In a
anything
blink
that
of an
he
eye.
specifically did. It was just like, this was it. Like, we're done, moving on. But I will
Yeah.
say, like, I do truly believe everything happens for a reason. And I was already in that mindset, but prior to that happening. But like that just put into perspective, like everything truly happens for a reason. And even though it can feel so fucking hard in the moment, and you're like, why is this happening to me? Like, this doesn't make sense. Like, this is not good. This is a scary situation. I think, like, just looking back on it now, it was just like, whoa, like, you might not
Yeah.
understand it in
I
the
mean,
moment, but things all come together in the end, you know?
well, yeah, because you guys were also kind of just like figuring out like, does he still have the job? Does he not? And there's like a
Yeah.
weird limbo period there. Um, and as days went by, it looked less and less hopeful that he would still have the job. And I remember it
Yeah.
was kind of just like, like time was ticking, you were sort of figuring it out.
Yep.
And then at the same time, you were like, is this like the life that we really want? And like, just like really, like you really reevaluated. You two both
Yeah.
really
That was a
did. And I
very,
think
like,
that
intense, intense month.
it was
It was a
really
lot.
intense. I
Yeah.
mean, it was a lot. I remember when you got the call, they're like, oh, is this, Steve's wife? And you're like,
Yeah.
why are you calling me?
Yeah. It was
Like,
very
why?
scary.
No one
Yeah.
wants that call.
No. No,
It's a
that's like the
call you
worst call
never
that you
like.
can.
And I remember you said to
Yeah.
me, you're like, this is a call you never want to get. And I got the call.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very traumatic. So that was my lowest month of the year. Like that was my low. I feel like like I said earlier, like the beginning of the year was very low for me, but then it gradually started to go. We can only go up from here. Like we hit rock bottom. Like
Yeah.
there's nowhere
I
else
mean,
to go.
I mean, at one point, I remember you were really afraid that he wasn't going to get better. So when it
Yeah.
comes to like, not like near death experiences, but like, yeah, almost like near death
Yeah.
experiences, like it
Yeah.
really fucking shakes you.
Yeah.
So
And it just puts
in
things
a
into
way though,
perspective.
I mean, I see it all over like TikTok and stuff. People are like, when you experience something like that, all of a sudden you're just like, wow, like everything, nothing fucking matters
It
but your
doesn't.
health
Yeah.
and each
Yep.
other.
And not that I
So,
want like anyone to like
okay.
have to through a traumatic experience either. It's just like to like realize that like everything happens for a reason. I just think like people need to start shifting their mindset a little bit, you know? But
Yeah.
anyways,
Yeah.
moving
Yeah.
on to April.
Moving on to April. So April was a really good month for me though. I found my wedding dress. You
So
flew
exciting.
down and I was originally going to go alone, like wedding dress shopping because I was like, like I wasn't in a great place with my mom.
Yeah.
And then I just like felt like I didn't want to cause like anyone like any trouble with like
Yep.
my, because I live in a different state. And so, when you like had offered to, you're like, hey, I'm booking a flight. Like, I know you have
Yeah.
your appointment. I'm booking a flight. And you came down. I was like, okay, like, no problem. But it was honestly such a great fucking day. I
Yeah.
tried on every single dress in the store. The last dress I tried on was the dress I chose. And that was
I
the
know.
last dress they had in the store.
Yeah.
But I
I
also
love
like,
that.
I wanted to try on all the dresses to really make sure that I was like certain. Um,
As
but
you
I ended
should.
up deciding that month. Yeah, I mean, that month I ended up deciding not to bring my mom to my dress fitting. And that was like really hard for me because I'd always envisioned like bringing my mom to my dress fitting, right? And
Yeah.
having her there and whatnot. But our relationship at that point was really, really challenging because I don't know, I started to see like a different side of my mom. And I think like some of it was because she was dealing with the stress of my dad. So at this point, my dad is in like a full-time like rehab center because he was like such a fall risk and whatnot with his Alzheimer's. And my mom like really just she was like worried because he would fall and then she couldn't pick him back up because
Yeah. Which is
he was a
scary.
heavy dude. Like
Yeah.
he was a big dude, okay? He's a big dude. Not that
Yeah.
he wasn't fat by any means, but he's a big dude. So he's a heavy
Yeah.
dude. So my mom like couldn't be able to pick him up, all the things. So with that being said, he was in there full time. I saw a different side of my mom and I understand that she was going under a lot of stress, but I also just started to realize like a rift in our relationship. And I think the rift in our relationship started a long time before this. But
Yeah.
at this point, like every time I spoke to her, it was one, either extremely negative or two, it was about my body.
Yeah.
And I
Which is
had
no
just,
bueno. Don't have time for that.
exactly. And I had just started going back to like working out regularly. I had just like really fallen in love with like moving my body. And like my body was seeing some changes in terms of like because I started working out, but I wasn't dieting.
Yeah.
And I just like really didn't want any of that negative energy when I was trying on wedding dresses.
Yeah, which is very valid, of course.
Because the last thing I want is to put on a wedding dress and for someone to be like, yeah, well, you have a back roll and like you shouldn't
Yeah.
wear that because you have a back roll. Like, I don't give a fuck if I have a back roll,
Yeah.
okay? I can pose one way and I won't have a back roll. Like,
Yep.
I mean, I've like, oh, I've come so far with my body and I just want to live in fucking peace with it. Like,
Yeah.
I have fallen in love with working out. I am so proud of my body now. Like, I love it. Like, I've come so far with my relationship with food. And I
Yeah.
just don't have any energy for someone to come in and fucking ruin that when I am
No,
putting on the wedding dress of my dreams.
I agree. And no regrets. I don't think you have any regrets about not bringing your mom.
I
I mean, I
don't.
know in a
I don't.
perfect
I
world you
think,
would want your mom, but like at the end of the day, it's you got to protect your peace and your
yeah.
energy.
And I think that a lot of women like our age, sometimes like who have like older parents that grew up in the age of like, you know what we grew up with all the
Yeah.
like, you had to be skinny, like the low-rise jeans and everything. They
Yep.
have definitely a different mentality when it comes to like weight loss and diets and whatnot. And I'm not saying that like that's okay, but I also know that there is like a level of ignorance there. But I
Yeah.
also think that like, I've taken the time to educate my mom
Yep.
and she is not like getting it that I do not want to talk about my fucking body anymore.
Yeah.
And so therefore I was like, you're not invited to my dress. Well, I didn't even tell her I was going to
Yeah.
try
Yeah.
on dresses. I was
Until
just like,
after the
I'm just gonna
fact.
go.
You
Yeah,
got your dress and then
because
that
I
was
was like,
it.
right, exactly. And if anything I learned from April was to protect your peace and protect your energy because looking back, when I found my dress, like I was not stressed out. I was relaxed. I was having
Yeah.
fun.
Yep. Yeah. And
And
that's all that
that's all that
matters.
matters.
Yeah.
And I felt
For me,
confident.
yeah, which is the biggest key takeaway. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it just, again, you got to protect your energy, protect your peace. You can't worry about other people's feelings and emotions anymore. It's just like, it's you. You need to protect yourself. Um,
Right.
I think for me, April, again, flew down to Florida to see you and get your dress, which was amazing and so much fun. Um, and then and Steve got a new job in April. So that was amazing. That
Mm,
was like a big turning point because the pieces just fell together perfectly. He didn't know what he was going to do for a job or career or like how his body was going to be, how fast he was going to heal, like the whole 9 yards. So for him to get something that like truly felt like, whoa, this is it. Like this is actually where I'm
yeah.
supposed to be was an amazing feeling. So things started to look up. Um,
And it
and
was
I,
like such a fast turnaround.
yeah,
Like
no, it
I
was very fast.
I
He
didn't
was very
realize
committed.
how I get it. And I didn't I knew how fast it was, but I didn't realize how fast it was. But
Same.
also like it was just such a great fit. Like it
Yeah.
fell into his lap. I also feel like he's been there forever at the same time.
Same, same. And it's only been like what, 8 months or something, like since April.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that just goes to show, like, again, I'll talk more about this as we get towards like the end of the months, but everything happens for a reason. Like everything started to fall into place, even though it was really scary at times and I could not see that far ahead into the future. I'm like, where the fuck is things going? What are we doing? Things started to like slowly progress. And in April, I started a new hobby, and that was golf for the first time, which
Oh,
I was like,
yeah.
I'm so excited. And I've never done anything like that before. I was always someone who was like, what is golf? Golf is so boring. I don't understand it. But my husband plays golf and he, has been playing forever. Um, Not that he's like any Tiger Woods or anything, but like he loves it and it's just another hobby for him.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what really initiated me like saying, "Oh, I want to start playing golf." I honestly don't know. I feel like things just come to my head and I'm like, "You know what? Fuck it, let's do it." But it was a really good point for like me and him to start to have a hobby together because he golfs, I started golfing. It was just something that we could do during the week, during the weekends. So I think that really brought us closer together more than we already were. And especially again, going through like that whole traumatization situation for March, like it just brought us closer together. It just made us understand like life is too short. Let's just do things that we love. Like, let's
Yeah.
try new things, try new fucking things. So my April was starting to look up,
Honestly,
you know,
we should try golfing because we live in Florida now.
you should. Oh my God.
Like,
If I lived in a sunny state all year round, I would be golfing. Like I can't golf right now. It's fucking freezing here in Massachusetts. And I mean, there's like inside golf and stuff, but like it's just not the same. You should totally do it.
Yeah,
You and
it's not the
Matt should
same.
do it. It's such a fun
He
hobby.
is he is so afraid of what people think of him though, like when he's out in public
You
and trying new
can't be.
things.
I know. It is
I know.
intimidating. I get it. But like I think go to the driving range, start small, do some lessons, whatever. Like I started just doing lessons because I had no idea what anything meant. And that was really helpful. But I get the intimidation part. But I think like in this day and age, you gotta just say fuck it. Like who the fuck cares what people are looking at and saying and thinking of you? Like you're never gonna see them again. Is
Well, somehow
is
you're
that
gonna be an
him?
honorary guest on the podcast.
Speak
Oh
of the devil.
You're an
wow.
honorary
Look at
guest.
this. Is this the Christmas
Hi,
special we're
Yeah,
doing?
but
Matt.
show your shirt. Show your shirt.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Raise my
God, he
elf.
has
Buddy
You
the
a
can sit
good
elf.
here.
Christmas.
Hi.
Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite
Hello.
color?
Yes, happy Friday. Oh, that's the sweater I was looking for.
Yeah.
That's
I would have
so
been hot with
funny.
that on in the school though.
All
Enjoy the
right.
podcast. Happy holidays. Hi, Jenny.
Dude,
Let's shut the door, please.
Merry
I love that he had a holiday
Christmas.
like festive shirt on to join the podcast
Oh,
for the first time. He like came prepared.
yeah. All right, we're good. Um,
What are we
all
moving
right.
into now?
I'm glad that everyone lets me be
May.
honorary guest, Matthew.
Matthew.
May. It wasn't like a crazy month for me. I hit 50 rides at Cycle Bar, which was
Love
something that
that.
like I never thought that I would like hit. Because again, like I went from like hating working out, like I gave up fitness altogether
Yeah.
to really getting into it and being like, this is fucking fun and
Yeah.
feeling really good. And I also started focusing on like my cardio, heart rate, whatever fitness on my Fitbit because
Yep.
I did go to the doctor, I think like around May, and my cholesterol was still high a second year in a row, which it's hereditary in my family anyways. But I was like, okay, like I'm going to try to like, get my heart rate up so I can lower
Yep.
my cholesterol, which I have a little bit, which has been great from working out and whatnot. And I think that like for like health goals, like things like that, like I'd rather like work on like, okay, lowering my cholesterol than like focusing on a
Yeah.
number on the scale sort of thing.
Yes.
Like it just
Yep.
means like I have to continuously move my body every day, which is fine. So anyways, yeah, that was May. And I think my biggest takeaway from May is just, if you stick with something,
Yeah.
like you will see results.
Yeah. I love that. May for me wasn't anything crazy. I think that let's see, what did I put down here? So I went to Portland, Maine for a girls' trip. I also went to Agunquit, Maine for Memorial Day. And I think like this was the turning point for me of like, again, things were starting to look up. I was starting to feel like better. I was starting to like I was getting back into myself because like I'm such a big traveler gal. I love to like, go new places or just like, I don't know, spend time with
Yeah.
friends and like just really appreciate, I don't know, just being somewhere else, I guess. So I don't know. I think my takeaway for May was just like spending quality time with people that like matter most to me is a really big thing for me. Like I love that like socialization with really close friends and family and just I don't know, being in the presence of others and like having that positivity was something that I really needed because I just felt like so isolated at that point in time in like
Yeah.
March and like a little bit of April. And I don't know, I think you also know like who you can really count on for friends and family when things like that happen and like who's really there for you. So I don't know, May was just more of like a being around people, like
Reevaluation.
yeah, and definitely, yeah,
Yeah. And spending
exactly.
time with people because again, life is too short. And also at that point you were working remotely like full time.
Yes. Yep.
Basically, like
Yeah.
essentially. So I remember you kind of feeling just like very isolated in that way. You're like, it's
Yep.
just me, my keyboard clicky clacking all day.
Yeah.
And you felt like disconnected from people and you really like kind of craved being around people, especially after such like a crazy thing, what
Yeah.
happened to Steve.
Yep.
So
Totally.
yeah.
So yeah, that was an interesting one. Nothing crazy, but nothing
Yeah.
bad.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
June, nothing happened except for I got a molar pulled.
Which I feel like my June was so
Yeah.
good, and you're like, shit, I have to get a molar pulled, and your teeth
I
situations.
got
That's when
a
it really started to
fucking
rev up.
molar pulled. I got like an infection. I don't know. Long story short is like my dentist like messed up my cap on this side, so it messed up my bite on this side. So I bit too hard,
Oh,
cracked
I
my
hate
cap,
teeth.
cracked my root canal. I cracked everything. Just they just had to rip the whole tooth out, which again, this whole process,
Oh,
implant process will finally be finished in February, right before the wedding. But
thank God.
cost me a nice $5,000.
We love
So
unexpected
long story
expenses.
short, right. So what did I learn in June is to get a motherfucking FSA and to
Yep.
wear your mouth guard to bed. Don't know who needs to hear that.
I love that. I love that. Very specific, but like things that you want to think about. Get an FSA.
No, if you
FSA?
are watching this,
FSA.
right, FSA, yeah, flexible spending account. And if you are
Yeah.
watching this, take us or listening, check your jaw, unclench it, stop
Yeah.
biting. And if you are clenching it right now, that is a sign you need to go get a mouth guard on
Yep.
Amazon for like $10. Boil it, do it yourself.
That's it.
Okay. It's time because a $10 mouth guard is a lot less expensive and a lot less painful than a 5K implant.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. I love that journey for you. Um,
I
it's
don't.
funny because I feel like I don't love that, but like I do. You've had a good run with the dentist. And now you know. You have a better one now though. You had to go through the bad
Yeah,
to get to the good.
she's so cute. She's like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I love her. She's like a vibe now. Like
I
I have
hate
like
the
a
dentist. I fucking hate it.
I like don't hate it, but I don't love it. Like I
Yeah.
like it. Well, actually, hold on, let me back up. If I could afford to get a cleaning every 2 months, I would.
Oh, see,
I
no.
love.
No. I do love my dentist now because I feel like very comfortable with her. She's like very quick in and out, like, but that someone being in my teeth is just like I fucking
I
hate
guess
it.
I'm
It's
so
a
used to
hassle.
it
Ugh, yeah, well,
because I've
yeah,
had
yeah.
caps. This
You've
tooth's fake.
yeah.
This tooth's fake. This there's no tooth here. There's an implant
Yeah,
here. This tooth's fake. Like I am so used to having people like
in your
in my
mouth.
mouth. But now, like honestly, if if I could go to the dentist every 2 months, I
Yeah,
tell Matt this all the time. I would. He's like, I know you fucking would. You
I
love it. I'm
know.
like, I love clean teeth.
Ugh,
No,
I
in
do love
reality,
clean
okay, if
teeth. I
I
like
was,
the feeling after. I don't
I
like the
know,
during. That's
I
my
know.
thing.
This is, we're gonna get back to it in a second. If I was rich, in reality, this is what would happen, okay? I would replace this with an implant to get a nice one, or maybe
Yep.
even get veneers to cover all my teeth,
Yeah.
or whiten them
Okay.
professionally. Like I'm talking 3 to 4 step process, all brand new smile. Like,
Yeah.
let's get into it.
Or well, let's
Oh
manifest
yeah.
that for you. We're manifesting it for you. It's gonna be a
Yeah,
great time.
it's gonna happen one day. This tooth needs to be fixed. All right, moving on.
Okay, so my June was very eventful. I went to the Taylor Swift concert, which was so fucking fun and
So
amazing
jealous.
and like everything it could be and more. So that was a really cool experience for me. And because that was also the first time that I ever saw her in person at a concert, which is
Oh,
wild.
really?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know
she's
how
so
I
good.
never saw her in concert before. Um, so that was amazing. And then Steve and I went to Tennessee for our wedding anniversary because we
Oh,
like
I
to go away
forgot
every
about that. The
year.
treehouse,
Yes.
right? You
Yep, we
ski
went
in
to
the
the
treehouse?
treehouse. Yep, that was really cool. A cool experience. And then we went to Nashville for the first time too, because we were already in Tennessee, which Nashville just ain't my vibe. Like it was
I've
cool,
never been.
but it's not on my don't add it to your bucket list. I don't know. I feel like it's very overrated. It was very
Mm,
it just was very trashy on Broadway. There was just so many drunks and it just smelled really I don't know.
mm.
I prefer Vegas over Nashville like any day of the week and that says a lot.
I
Um
We
I
love
don't know.
Vegas. Like in
Yeah.
ter it's so clean.
Yeah. It no,
So
Nashville
clean.
was disgusting in my mind. Or in my opinion, I should say.
Mm.
I'm cool. It was cool. Checked it off my bucket list. Now we're good. And
Right.
then I
Done.
also quit my motherfucking job in June.
Love it.
And I had no plan. And Scary in the moment, but best
Hmm.
decision I ever made because my mental health was just not it. I was so drained from that job. There were so many different factors that went into my decision, but like, and so many things that like led up to it. But I finally just like had a breakdown on a random Tuesday. And I was like, I don't think I can do this anymore,
Well, I
Steve.
think it was right when you came back from going away for Taylor Swift. You worked
No, no,
Monday and
it
then
was right
Tuesday.
before. So it was Tuesday.
Oh,
Yeah, it was literally a couple days before I was going to Taylor Swift. It was like
was it
June.
right after Nashville?
No, so Nashville was at the very end of June. And so I quit my job at the
Okay.
very beginning of June. It was like June 6th or something. And then 2 days later, I was going to Taylor Swift. And then at the very end of
Okay.
June, I went to Nashville.
Okay. So then it was definitely one of your other trips that it was like right after you came back. You like worked a few days and you're
Yes.
like,
Yeah. I think I was in a for like Memorial Day or something. Like
yeah,
I
I
was
think
away that like previous weekend or something. And then yeah, it was a Tuesday. I remember it so perfectly. And there was so much shit going on. I just was so overwhelmed. I was crying. It just was like one of those things that was like, holy fuck. Like
not
the
worth it.
people here and the work that I'm doing is just not worth it. And I had a conversation and like I was talking to Steve and I was like, I don't know, I should just push through. I should just keep pushing through. And then it was just like, no, I can't push through anymore. And it was like 9 p.m. I sent a nice little email. This was my last day. Wish you well. And that was it. And that was like the most freeing thing I think I've ever done in my life. Like when it comes to like bigger
Yeah.
decisions, like I've never quit a job like that. I've always given 2 weeks. I've always had another job
That's
lined
so
up.
powerful.
But for the first time in my life, I don't have anything lined up. Like I have been on a break for like 6 months now of like job free or
That's
jobless. I don't know.
that's
And it's been
great. I
great.
mean, that's the joy of being in your 20s, like, because you
Yeah.
can afford to do this sort of stuff. It's actually
Yep.
funny. I just remembered I started my new job in June as well.
Yeah. So
Like,
it's
I
yeah,
had
there was
quit
a
my old
very
job and I quit my old job and I started this job in
yeah.
June, that I'm currently working, and best thing I ever did.
Yeah. Yeah, I have
I'm
no
so
regrets.
glad.
It was scary in the moment, but it was so I remember just feeling so free for the first time ever. And I still feel like that. I still feel free and I am very privileged. Let me just put that out there. Like I feel very privileged to even be able to do something like this because I know most people can't and I don't take that for granted. And we don't have kids and we don't have any crazy responsibilities. So it's like if not now, then when? Like I'm trying to find myself. I'm
Right.
trying to find like what do I want to do? What's my passion? And I'm for once just like enjoying the ride. And I've never done that before. So June was a really good turning point in my life, I feel like. So very fortunate for that.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I
I think my
agree.
biggest
I
lesson was
agree.
like, just do what you want to do. Just do it.
Yeah,
Just do it. Do
just
it
do it.
scared. Do it
Um,
scared.
do it scared. And honestly, like your job can like consume
Oh,
everything about you
yeah.
if it's just that toxic and that crazy. And
Yep.
I've experienced that myself. And I think that this transition, it was really scary to go to a new job, but it was the best thing that I ever did. Like
Yeah.
my mental health was so bad before. And
Yep.
also I was constantly on edge of like, will I have a job? Will I not have a job? Because it was
Yeah.
like
Which is
everything was
scary.
so rocky.
Yep.
So I'm so glad that I made the leap. I took the leap. All right. So July was my bachelor party. I did not expect a bachelorette party because I'm not doing traditional bridesmaids.
Yep.
But all my friends were like, yo, we're getting together. We're throwing you a party.
Yo,
It
we're
was so
doing
much
it.
fun. It was
Yeah.
so much fun. We went to Cape Cod. So I flew up to everyone. We went down to the Cape. We had like a little beach day. Then we did a winery day, which was like my favorite day ever. I will forever look
Yeah.
back on that winery day. I
That
had a
was so
fucking
much fun.
blast. I really did.
Yeah.
And I want to
The
do it
big
all over again.
Jenga, the big Jenga, you dancing in
It
the
was so crazy.
fields for a TikTok. I mean, there's just
Yes.
not much more that you could do that would make it more better.
So we played Jenga in like literally in this tent where there was like live music. We're drinking our wine slushies, and the Jenga was like taller than all of us, and we were so intense with this game. The
Yep.
whole tent was watching us and
I
like
love
cheering us
that
on, and
moment. Oh my God. Oh,
it was so funny.
it
I was
was
chilling as well.
core memory for me.
Yeah, so much fun. I had a great weekend. But what did I learn from that weekend? I think it's that I don't love surprises. And I
Yeah.
don't mean that in a way that like I'm an ungrateful bitch, because I am so thankful and I had a great fucking time.
Yeah.
But also, like, I just don't really like surprises. Like,
I feel
I
you.
like
I don't
surprises
either.
in gift forms, like
Yeah.
in physical gift forms that you're giving me a gift.
Yes.
I want to be surprised with flowers or something like that. I don't mind being surprised for like a dinner like, oh,
Yeah.
I made a dinner reservation. Here's what to wear. I'm like,
Yep.
okay, that's fine. But if it's like, I don't
Bigger
know, like in some
moments.
cases, like I'm like, yeah, I'm like, I don't really love the surprise aspect.
Yeah.
So anyways,
That's
that's just me
valid.
because I have so much anxiety.
Yep. Yep. No, I
I'm just
agree.
an
I don't
anxious
love
girly.
surprises either. I need to know like the itinerary.
So
I need to
that's
know
like,
where I'm going. What am I packing? Like you said, I can do a gift surprise, maybe a dinner reservation. Even then I'm still kind of like, oh God, like if I don't know what I'm doing, it freaks me out. Um, but
yeah,
yeah, I think that's very valid. July for me was like nothing crazy. I mean, obviously we went to your Bachelorette, which was so much fun. And then it really was like a golf girl summer for me. Like I was golfing almost like 3 to 4 times a week, and especially in July, and it was so I mean, I know that a lot of people don't love to, like, golf when it's really hot out, but I was, like, thriving. I was getting my sun in, my
yeah,
steps in. I was, like, just having fun. I was doing it with a group of girls that I met from this other group in Boston, but, um, it was cool because I put myself out there. I was very nervous to golf, first of all, because
yeah,
again, I don't know everything about it. It's just very intimidating. You're starting something completely new. But I met girls through this like Boston page for, girls who golf basically. And it was all other girls who were like beginners or like they don't take it that seriously. So it was cool to like meet up with other women throughout the week and, be able to like have a hobby with them and connect with them. And I don't know, I guess I never really thought about like how much a hobby could like impact, like how, I don't know, how important it is to have hobbies. Like, I feel like I've never really
yeah.
had like a specific hobby. Like, I don't know. And I feel like guys always have their hobbies. Like,
No,
they
I
do
feel
so
that
many
way.
thing. And us girls just like, I don't know, we kind of just like throw
I feel
ourselves to
that
the
way.
wayside. Like, I
I
don't
feel that
know.
way about spin because I mean, yes, it's a workout class and that's how I work
Yeah.
out, but I don't really look at it as a workout. Like I go because it's like fun and I
Yeah.
go to like all the themed rides. Like tonight I'm going to like a holiday ride and
Yep.
like it's more than just working out for me. It's
Yeah.
like I like to like dance to the music and listen to
Yep.
the music and yeah, it's
Yeah.
so important. It's so
Yeah.
important. Like human connection is so important
Yes. I
for
agree. I
me,
think that was
at
my big
least.
takeaway for July. Like, do
Yeah.
a hobby, do something different, spread your
Yeah.
wings. But yeah, that was really my July. It was just a
Okay.
hot, hot girl fucking golf summer. So moving on to August. What do we got for
August.
August?
This
So
is the
this is
month I
a
don't want to talk about.
yeah. I just
Um,
I just looked at that.
this was the worst month of my entire life. Um, I lost my dad and it was just really fucking tough. I don't want to cry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Um,
know.
it
Don't
was
do
just
it. I can't give you a hug, Joe.
it
No,
was
this is
just
a
so
tough one.
hard and
Yeah. It's a
and
low.
I just it was
You're gonna
just so
make me
hard.
cry.
Um, and it was like living in a fucking simulation, like
Yeah.
when your parent passes away, like like we just like scrambled to find flights and
Yep.
luckily like JetBlue, they actually do like a family, I don't know, bereavement deal and they gave us a
Wow.
deal. Yeah, you have
It's
to
not
call them
awesome,
though.
but it's
Yeah,
nice.
I mean, the flight was so fucking expensive because like we were
Yeah.
flying out like without really any notice. And luckily though, when I did go to Boston in July for my bachelorette, I did get to see my dad.
Yeah.
So that was really nice. But
Yep.
so I felt like at peace in that sense, like I got that closure, gave him a hug, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was just like really, really tough. I don't really talk about it because it's like just fucking tough to talk about, but
Yeah.
it was like the worst month of my life, and it's so hard because like at the same time I'm like oh like now my dad isn't gonna walk me down the aisle and all of the
Yep.
things and
Yeah.
like I don't think like you realize that and so like after my dad passed like I did end up like going to therapy and everything like that just to like process it
Yeah.
and
Which is
what I
so
learned is that like
important.
there's like so so many like secondary griefs. And so what that means is that like yes, like I lost my dad and I kind of like grieved losing him like a while ago because he had Alzheimer's.
Yep.
So if you're listening and you don't know this, my dad had Alzheimer's. He had it for a long time. Once he hit his head in January, he declined very quickly, like 6 months.
Yeah.
It's like he was down. Um, and so, and that's usually how it goes with Alzheimer's. Like sometimes it's like one event and it just like
Yep.
can really trigger and speed up the acceleration of the disease. And so, you know, I grieved not having him be who he was for a very long time because like I didn't like my dad was alive for a long time, but he wasn't my dad
Yeah.
in a way. Like I don't
Yep.
know how else to describe that. So I've already grieved him, but then I think like once he officially passed, I started grieving like, wow, like he's not gonna meet my kids, he's not gonna see my house, he's not gonna go to my wedding. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it just sucked. It was just
Like
a
those
really
big life
fucked up month.
moments. Yeah. And
Yeah,
nobody
it
prepares
was just a
you for
terrible month.
that. Like
Yeah, okay.
you had it in the
Whew.
back of your mind that like, you know, he's not going to be here forever, obviously, and like it's going to happen soon, but like you just never, you can never be, I mean, you're never prepared. I mean, I've never lost someone that close to me, obviously, that hasn't
Yeah,
happened in my life. And it's just like, yeah, there's so many different emotions and like there's no right or wrong way to process. And it's like you said, like grief just comes in like waves. Like there could be really good days where you're like so happy and everything's good and you're like thinking about all the positive moments, and then it could be like something, it could be something so simple
yeah,
that you're like, shit, we used to do this together, or like he's
yeah,
not, and again, he's not gonna, you know, see bigger like life moments. So that's a tough one. And Alzheimer's, oh my
yeah.
God, I don't even want to think about that in general. Like that disease scares the fuck out of me. Like that is the like
No, it does
worst
because
thing
you
because you're losing the
you
person even though they're
completely,
alive. Like
yeah,
there's nothing there.
it's terrible, and I just like hope we find a fucking cure. They do have
Yeah.
medicines out now that like slow down the process. My dad actually participated in some trials that helped
Yeah.
like slow down his progression and whatnot, which was great. And like my mom was like, of course, like we'll be a part of clinical trial, like
Yeah.
anything to like help. Like he's like, you know, anything to help other people too, and which was that was awesome. But yeah, it was just a terrible month.
Yeah.
It really was a terrible, terrible fucking month. Like,
Yeah.
and at the same time, it's like, you know, my sister didn't go to my dad's funeral.
Which
And
was
there's a lot there.
yeah.
There's a lot there. And I think that that month in particular, the dynamic with my mom drastically changed. Um, and like, I don't know, like I remember we are like planning the funeral and stuff, and my mom's like asking like, you know, my sister, like, can you send the flowers or whatever for the casket? Like that would mean a lot since you're not coming. She refused to send flowers.
Yeah.
And it was just like really heavy and like
Yeah.
uncharted territory for me. And
Yep.
I like never want to relive that month. And like again, like sometimes like I can like talk about it and I'm like perfectly fine. And other times I'm
Yep.
like, oh my God, like especially if I start talking about that specific month, like I'm like, no, like
Yeah.
I lose
You
my
want to
shit.
block it out. Yeah.
Um, it was so bad. It was so
Yeah.
bad. So, anyways, moving on.
Moving on. I wish I could give you a big old hug, but I will in actually 2 weeks when I
I
come to
know.
see you. Um, so August for me, nothing crazy. I think it was just like end of summer celebrations. I had more golf that I was doing. I had a couple like girl dinner parties, which was really nice to just like spend time with like quality girlfriends. We did a Survivor weekend, which was really cool. It was one of my friend's birthdays that weekend, and she loves Survivor, so that was really fun. Um, so like yeah, nothing crazy. I think it was just like a really like good end of summer month of just doing things that brought me joy. Which is so fucked because
Yeah.
it's like August did not bring you joy, but like it brought me joy. And that's again, it's just so interesting to me to like see those different parallels of like people just are going through so many different things in life. And isn't that like kind of wild to think about?
Well,
Like you could be so
yeah, I'm
happy and
looking at
positive and
March.
someone can be so depressed. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I was looking at March, for example, like I we went and got our engagement photos. Went on a cruise and that's when Steve's accident happened.
Yeah,
And
and I
I was
was
feeling great and you were
traumatized.
lowest of lows.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just interesting how that's like total opposite.
Yep.
Um, all right, September, it was my 28th birthday. What do we do
Yay.
this year? Oh, I ended up
Birthdays.
taking birthdays. Oh yeah, I took the day off. I went and got a massage. I got a
Love that.
facial. I took myself out to lunch. I had a fat nap. Kind of weird though, because my dad had just passed. Like, I just felt like in a very weird stage. I did
Yeah.
start like a new like grief therapist at that time who helped me like kind of go through like the motions and whatnot.
Yep.
Other than that, like nothing too crazy. I was just gonna say like what I learned from September is that it's okay to like reach out for help when
Yeah.
you need it.
I
That's
love
it.
that. Yep. And I was just gonna say too, I'm happy that you like chose to go to like a therapist, like and find someone for help because like there's never an issue with like needing extra help from some like an outside source. Because I think so many times too, like just in general, like whether it's trauma, families, whatever, it's like so hard to talk to other people that are close to you because sometimes they just don't get it. Like if someone hasn't gone through
Yeah.
your situation, it's hard to like find comfort in other people and like give you the right advice or like a different perspective. So I'm proud of you for going and sticking with that and doing
Yeah.
what you needed to do in that moment.
Thanks.
Let's see. September for me, I started a spicy book club. Oh my God, which was
Oh
has
yeah.
been so fun for me. If there's any spicy lovers out there with your books, hit me up and join our spicy book club. So that was fun. That was like out of my comfort zone again, just like trying to meet new people and not necessarily like meeting or like needing to meet new people. I think it just kind of happened and I'm very grateful for that because again, it kind of
It's
got me
great.
into socializing and like having other people and having another hobby. Like the spicy book club has been a really fun hobby for me.
It's your
Um
winter hobby
it I
because
love
golf is your
that.
summer hobby.
Yes, yes. And we've had like fun, meetups once a month and we're just, it's just something carefree, light and carefree in a world that feels fucked up. What else did I do in September? We did
Love
a
it.
Lake George cousins trip. That was really fun. Again, just
Oh
like
yeah,
traveling. These
I
things
forgot
feel
about
like they
that.
were 25 years ago.
I
Everything
know.
feels so far away. And what else did I do in September? Oh, I went to the Mossy Apothecary, that spa that
Yes,
I
I remember
had
that.
seen on Instagram. Oh my God. It was 2 hours away from my house. So was I a psycho bitch for going? Of course. But the whole experience was
Yes.
so cool. And yeah, that was it. September was fun for me. It wasn't anything crazy. I think it was starting to kind of get into like officially end of summer and moving into like the colder months. But overall, not a bad month. Just doing things outside of my comfort zone. That was September.
Yeah,
October?
love it. October, I started to get out again, like more, because like September, like I really stayed in a lot. I just like didn't really want to socialize. I didn't
Yeah.
really want to do too much. October, I started really craving like human interaction and meeting friends. And October is when I started to just like get out more and try to meet people. I think I
Yeah.
attended my first like Tampa Girl walk in October, or was it like late September? I think it was late September, early October,
Yeah.
because I was like, I need to meet people. Like, I need to surround myself with people, especially right now.
Yeah.
So, anyways, started all those things. We saw the Joe Bros in concert. They
So cool.
are they were better than they've ever been. They're so fucking hot. I love them so much. I've always been a Nick girl, but
Yeah.
I feel like lately I'm a Joe girl and like,
Yeah.
oh my God. Like he
I
is
love
just
Nick Jonas is definitely, yeah. I
they're
mean, I've
just
never been like a
they're
big
just stunning.
Jonas Brothers fan, but
No, I
he's
feel like
gorgeous.
Nick is your type.
Yeah.
Nick
Yeah.
is your type, aka he
I can
looks
see
most
him
like
in a,
Steve.
yeah, and I could see him in like a spicy book talk situation. That's how I picture these men. I know it's so fucked. I've
Yes.
read so many spicy
Oh,
books that I'm just like, this is what he looks like. This is this is it. This
oh
is the
yeah.
book
A
boyfriend.
hundred, 100%.
He's not with
In
anyone though,
October
is
we
he?
also went to
Is he in a relationship?
no, I don't think
Not
so.
that I'm looking,
No,
but
they
like
went
has he
no,
ever
wait,
been
no, Nick
committed?
or Joe?
Nick.
Joe, hold on, wait,
Joe
let
is
me back
getting
up.
a divorce, right?
Joe is getting a divorce. Nick is married to Priyanka, has been married to Priyanka forever, like
Wait,
2
Nick is
years.
married?
Yeah, to
Oh, I didn't
Priyanka.
know that. Who the hell is Bianca?
She's Priyanka.
Oh, Priyank.
She is like the number one actress in India. She has more followers than Nick Jonas.
Okay, I feel like I can picture her.
She's in
I don't
a
know if I'm
lot of
picturing the right
movies,
person.
but
Wow.
yeah,
I
she's
didn't
older
know
than
he
Nick.
was married.
She's 10 years older than him,
Okay.
which is like a power
Interesting.
move. I love it for
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
They have a baby. Do you know all this?
What? He has a
They have
child?
a baby, but they got a surrogate. She didn't want to carry the baby because she's been filming and she can't carry the baby, so they got a surrogate.
Holy shit. Okay, I'm gonna have to do a Jonas
They
Brothers
had a
dive.
huge traditional Indian wedding. It was absolutely
Wow.
stunning. And then they also
Wow.
had an American wedding,
Okay.
um, which I don't
I'm
really
blown
understand why
away.
they ended up doing both because
Yeah.
the wedding over in India was so large and so intricate and so detailed. It was like stunning. But they ended up doing
Wow.
another American wedding, probably for people that couldn't make it,
Yeah.
which was also huge.
I need to
But the
look
one that
all
they
of
had over
this
in
up
India,
after.
oh, the
I'm mind
one they
blown.
had over in India was I was blown. I'm like, this is incredible. I have
Elegance
never
times a
seen
thousand.
she looks stunning.
Wow. Okay. I just
Okay.
thought he was like a bachelor for like ever and ever.
No.
Clearly I'm not with it.
Mm-mm.
I'm not with it. I
He
read too
is,
many
they're all like,
books.
they were like, basically like, they've all been like tied down because like Kevin has his girl, Joe
Yeah.
was tied down. We all know what's going on there.
R.I.P.
Anyways, so October, we also went to Bern Steakhouse, and if you don't know what Bern Steakhouse is, it's like one of the like top restaurants in the country.
That's
It
amazing.
is. You have to like. We tried to go in August for our last like dating anniversary, but we couldn't get in because they take reservations like 60 to 90 days in advance, like the
Wow.
day of, 90 days out.
Yeah.
So we got a reservation. It's a whole fucking experience. You walk in, there's only that. So they open your door for you. You sit
Love
down, they
that.
greet you with the menu. But like when you order a steak there, the steak comes with a French onion soup, which they could do gluten free for me. It came with a
Nice.
house salad, which you could do like all their homemade dressings. It
Yep.
came with a baked potato that's like loaded, onion strings, green
You're making
beans,
me
and the
so
steak. And
hungry right now.
it was all one
Oh
price.
my
And
God.
then once you're done, we got a tour of the kitchen,
Yep.
which like they're cooking like hundreds of steaks at a time there. It's insane. We got a
That's so
tour of
cool though.
the largest wine cellar in the world with like
Wow.
some of the bottles of wine was like, I don't know, like $50,000. And
Yeah.
let me back up really quickly. So we're sitting there, we're like wrapping up our dinner, we're drinking our wine, and Matt is sitting like I'm sitting in the booth and he's sitting me, so he's looking at me in the wall,
Yeah.
and I'm like, and Matt's like, what? And there's like five or six men, the biggest men I've ever seen in my entire life,
Yep.
walk by, and like everyone there is pretty dressed up. They're in like
Yeah.
hoods, hoodies, hoodies. They're in like they have like baseball caps on or beanies on. They have
Yeah.
sunglasses on. One of them smiled and had like the gold teeth. I'm like, Matt,
Who are
what is
they?
going on here? And they were huge. I was like, Matt, this is football players. They go to sit in the booth. They could all barely fit. Matt did some research. We found their roster. They were part of the other NFL team playing the next day. And so they ordered,
Wow.
I know, they
Oh my
ordered like the
God.
bottle of wine that was like
Yeah.
50 or 60,000, and they asked for another one. And while we were in the cellar, they were trying to find an extra one. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna have to go across the street. We don't have it here."
Yeah.
Because their wine cellar continues across the street. And so they're
Wow.
like, "Oh, you're gonna have to go tell the team." And I'm like, "Matt, like they're ordering
This is
another
them.
bottle of
Someone's
this wine."
famous.
But but for them to drop like a
Oh, it's
thousand
like
dollars each on
$50.
dinner
Doesn't matter.
is like $50 to us, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
crazy. So we ended up going to Burns, and then after we did the wine cellar tour, you go upstairs to the dessert room,
Yep.
and the dessert room is basically it's a room where you eat dessert, but like everyone sits in a wine barrel.
Yeah. Oh,
You have
that's
your
so
own wine
cool.
barrel that you sit in,
Wow.
so it's like private.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a cool is there just one of
and they
these? Like,
have
is
a
this like the only
and
location?
then yes, and they have a pianist.
Yep.
It's like so gorgeous.
That's a cool
It's so fun.
experience.
I mean, we were there for like 4 hours, but
Yeah.
it was
As
fun.
you should be, especially for like what you're
Right.
spending. That's so cool though. That's a good experience. I love
Okay,
that.
sorry, that was a lot.
We
Moving
love
on.
Bern Steakhouse. If you're listening, please sponsor us.
Yeah, right.
Imagine. Oh my goodness. Was that your October?
That was my
Are you
October.
good?
I'm done. That's a lot.
No, I know. That's really good though. So October for us personally, we started the podcast like the last weekend or so in
Yes.
October, which is so exciting. I also started Gilmore Girls in October, the full season, like all 7 seasons.
Yes,
I had never watched it. So that was really fun for me. Kept me like distracted. I feel like I just needed something to like, I don't know, do something mindless. So I'm a Gilmore girly for life. I will forever watch it every fall. Like I understand the hype around Gilmore Girls. Um, and then I also took a pole dancing class for the first time with the Spicy Book Club ladies, which was like so fitting because spicy pole dancing, you get it. And that was fun for
yeah.
me, like stepping out of my comfort zone, doing something different, like challenging myself. I think, every month after March was just something for me to like challenge myself, find a hobby, do something different, step out of my comfort zone. Life is too short. Just like do shit that you wouldn't normally do. So yeah, that was my October. Nothing crazy. I felt good and yeah, trying new things, you know?
Trying new things. Love that.
Okay, so tell me your November. How was your November? What happened?
November. Um, we started to like honor my dad more. His birthday is November 1st. So I don't know what horoscope that is. Do you know? I don't know.
That could
Um,
be Libra. I don't know if that's Scorpio. Hold on. While you're talking, I'm going to look it up
I
because
feel
I
like
would
he
love
was
to
a
know.
Scorpio. Anyways, we did the walk to end Alzheimer's as well.
Scorpio.
Um,
He's a Scorpio.
Scorpio. Yeah,
Yep.
we raised money. And some of my friends, coworkers, and whatnot donated to obviously like the fight to end alls. Like it all goes towards like research and whatnot. That's like the
Love
one
that.
organization that I like repetitively. Like I've always liked to raise money for or
Yeah.
like donate my time to. I did, in fact, in college, actually intern for them. And helped
Wow.
organize like one of their events. Yeah,
Without like
I
knowing,
really,
right? Because your dad wasn't sick at that point, right?
yeah, I didn't
That's
know.
wild. Yeah. Wow. All comes full
Yeah,
circle in like the weirdest way.
it does. It does. So yeah. Oh, and then I broke up with my therapist that I started in September, because she ended up kind of being just a bitch.
Yeah.
So long story short is she basically told me my my anxiety is like make believe. And
Yeah.
then she
Love
was
that.
also just like yeah, she kept forcing religion down my throat and like she was like, like how do you feel about religion? And like I'm like, like here's my upbringing. Like I again like I'm not against like religion and I grew
Yeah.
up like Catholic. I was raised Catholic. I'm not really going to go into that whole thing right now, but I
Yeah.
was like, I don't really feel comfort in going to a church for a support group. Like I just don't feel like that's like the best group for me to be a part of. Like I just
Yeah.
don't think I feel comfortable. Long story short. And she's like, well, like you really need to you really need to go. You really need to find people. You need to go to a support group. And I'm like, I just don't think that it would benefit me to sit in a room and listen to other people talk about how they're grieving. Like I
Yeah.
personally I want to talk about just me, like with
Yeah.
you. That's it. Like just me and you. Like I don't need to listen to Bob, Sue, and Lou about all the people that they've lost.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm an empath and it makes me feel like shit when I'm hearing
Yes.
other people being sad. And then
Yep.
she like flipped it on me and she's like, well, that's because like you constantly feel guilty for other people and their emotions and you carry their emotions. I'm like, yes, that's what a fucking empath is.
Yeah.
And so I'd
Hello.
rather protect myself than go into a room and just feel totally depressed for multiple
Yeah.
days after.
Yep.
Anyways, I broke up with her, aka I just ghosted her because I was like, I just don't think we're vibing anymore.
Yeah. And you're setting the boundary. And I love that. Setting
I
boundaries is what
I said
we're
bye.
we're all about now. That's it.
Bye. All right, what about you? Oh, so what did I
Bye.
learn? November, let go of things that no longer serve you.
Perfect. Love that. November, we kind of a busier month, but we did a Patriots game with Steve's dad. That was really fun. Something that, he hasn't done before with the new stadium. Cut down my Christmas tree, which we all know I love that.
You love your Christmas tree.
Love my Christmas tree. And we celebrated Steve's 30th birthday, which was so exciting. I rented out a huge house there was like a little over 20 of us to all there, like his, most important friends and people that really matter the most. And that was really good. That was a nice, I feel like, because Steve had such a hard year in the beginning. And
Yeah.
he's not one, he doesn't celebrate anything. Like he'll celebrate you and put like all of his time and energy into you and like making sure everyone else around him is good. But he never does anything for
Yeah.
himself. And I was like, you know what, Steve, fuck that. It's your 30th motherfucking birthday. That's a big milestone. He went through so much this year. And I just was like, we need to celebrate you. So I planned the whole thing because if I didn't plan it, we would have just been fucking sitting alone on a Friday night eating birthday cake together. Like he wouldn't have cared, which there's nothing wrong with that either. But I
Right.
don't know. I
But I
wanted to
think
do
that
something big
also,
and celebrate him. Like it had to be
yeah,
done.
I think it goes back to like sometimes some people just like they don't like the spotlight on them and they
Yeah.
don't want to be like known as like a I don't know, they don't want to be thought of like a hassle or anything like
Yeah.
that when it comes to their
Yep.
birthday. But ultimately, I think we all deserve to be celebrated in some way, shape, or form. And I'm so
Yep.
glad that you guys went because the house had like so many games, like you
Oh,
said, and it
yeah.
was huge
Yep.
and
It was
so
everything
stunning.
he would
Something
have
that
ever wanted.
you you probably won't do it again, but it was awesome.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. It's like a once in a lifetime thing. Like, and I think my biggest takeaway for November was like, do things that you wouldn't normally do. Like, I don't know. It's just do it. Just do the damn thing. Like, don't worry about all the like ins and outs of shit. Like, life is too short. Do something that you wouldn't do, like a once in a lifetime opportunity. Take advantage of that because again, life is too short. We're not promised tomorrow. And as cliche as it sounds, it's like don't look back on I didn't want Steve to look back next year on his birthday and be like, "Oh, I should have celebrated his 30th." Like obviously it was a big investment to do, like his birthday. Like this house was amazing. It was so crazy big. But like I'm like, "Steve, it's fine." Like well, you figure it out. Like just do it. You don't want to look back and regret not doing something. So, no regrets in the month of November. That was my big
Right.
takeaway. Do you?
Exactly. Do you for
December.
you, be you. Isn't that what you always
Dun,
say?
dun, yeah, do you for you be you. La da 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 dun,
Whatever,
dun. Oh my
whatever
god.
that means.
Chaos. I know. I'm like
Yeah,
making shit up.
December, I mean, we're still in December, but my biggest thing that I did this month is I went for my final dress fitting, or like
Woo
my first, I
woo.
guess, because
Yeah.
where I bought my dress, they measure you, like they measure your body to order.
Yep.
So there was like little alterations, just had to do some straps, just doing a bustle, but I felt so motherfucking beautiful in my wedding dress.
Love
I
that.
cannot wait to wear her. I'm gonna pick her up in a few more weeks. I'm gonna do like a final sort of fitting, make sure everything's
Yep.
good before I take her home.
Yay.
Yay.
Dude, that's coming up so fast. Like 2 months and we're gonna be
It's
away for your
I'm
wedding. That's
freaking out.
wild. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
other
feel
than
like we
that,
still have
like
so much more time.
nothing. I don't really have a takeaway for December since it's still in process, but
Yeah.
catch up with me next month. Ow,
Yeah.
just hit my hand.
I was like, that sounded like it hurt. Yeah, no, same. December. I mean, December has been fun so far. We had a holiday Christmas party, looking at Christmas lights. We have a couple more things, obviously, for the month of December with, again, more parties and brunches and just like all the
Holidays.
festive things. And I am just, again, I don't have necessarily a takeaway for December, but the thing that I'm just trying to focus on is like, do things that bring me joy before the end of the year. Go see the fucking Christmas lights, go to the Christmas bar, do the Christmas thing, like be over the top, be
Have
festive,
fun.
be fun, like have fun, enjoy yourself. Like December is just all about
Yeah,
indulgence. I'm indulging in the things that I
good.
want to do
As you should.
and not apologizing for it.
Love it.
But with that being
All right.
said, what do you feel like you learned this year, Joe? What are your
Yeah, I
thoughts?
was gonna say that's a wrap.
Oh, okay.
What did
That's a wrap on
I
wraps.
learn this year? It's like such a loaded question. I
I
think my
know.
biggest thing is that like emotions can be parallel. Like you can be experiencing joy and sadness at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think that like this year for me, like obviously like we had just gotten engaged. We've been planning our wedding. We're so excited for the wedding. Then obviously with like my family now not coming to my wedding, my
Yeah.
family not being like super present with the wedding planning or in my life, and then as well as losing my dad, like like I feel so much sadness, but I'm also just so excited. I'm so happy. And
Yeah, for
sometimes
what's
like
to
I always
come.
forget that like I don't know, like in the past, like it's like, oh, I can't be happy right now because I'm going through so much, but it's like I fucking can be. You know,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
you can feel two things at the same time and it's weird, but it's okay. And I think that
Yeah.
like as I get older, I'm going to feel that way more and more often because not everything is sunshine and rainbows. So
Yep.
it's just been a very bittersweet year for me.
Yeah. No, I love that.
What about you?
I I think like I mean, I think my biggest thing is short and sweet. It's like life is too short, honestly. Like we're just not promised tomorrow, and I think that we really need to start like harnessing like what we have now in the moment, not being like, "Oh, when I have this, I'll be happy," or "When I have this, I'll feel better," or just like thinking about what we have now, like being grateful for this very moment, what we have, doing things that make you feel good, like stepping out of your comfort zone, trying new things, like not caring about other people's emotions and honestly setting motherfucking boundaries. Like I feel like I've set more boundaries for myself and whether it's, just like the relationships around me or the things that I want to do or the things that I don't want to do, I've set so many boundaries and setting boundaries can be a little scary and uncomfortable sometimes because you don't necessarily want to disrupt like I don't know, the flow of
Yeah.
things, but sometimes you have to get a little disruptive in order to like propel yourself to the next level and really just I don't know the word that I'm trying to look for, but setting boundaries and not apologizing for it and being okay with your choices, I think is the biggest thing that I've
Yeah,
learned for this year.
I feel that.
Yeah.
The next question we have is, what did you want to let go of in 2024? Do you want to take that one first?
What do I want to let go of? I think just anything that negatively impacts my life, whether it's a person, place, or thing.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
if you are negatively
love that.
impacting my life in some way, I'm letting it or you go. And I think I'm going to keep it short and
Yeah,
sweet with that. Like, we're not bringing anything negative into 2024. It's all, we can only go up from
yeah.
here. Positivity, good vibes, good energy. That's it. What about you?
I'm gonna say the same thing is that what I want to let go of, I want to let go of like my guilt, especially when it comes to my family.
Yeah.
A lot of times I feel very guilty for setting hard boundaries, kind of like you mentioned, and
Yep.
doing things to protect my peace. But I need to let go of that because I am not responsible for their actions. I'm not responsible for what they have done or what they will do. I'm not
Yeah.
responsible for what they say, what they shouldn't be saying. I'm not responsible for their money. I'm not responsible where they've ended up because of the money. And I'm not responsible for apologizing to everyone and just like, I don't need to accept their apologies after every
Yeah.
time that they hurt me. I need to
Yep.
stop feeling guilt around that because sometimes I haven't been accepting their apologies and then they like guilt trip me into being like, oh, like you hold grudges and stuff like that. And it's like, listen, like I understand holding grudges is not good and I know like forgive and
Yeah.
forget, but at some point or another, it's too fucking late.
Yeah.
So I need to let go of that guilt. I have a lot of guilt around my family, especially now that my dad's not here. I feel guilty for just like not being present. I feel guilty for
Yeah.
not feeding into them or taking their call consistently when they're screaming or crying or whatever it is, because
Yep.
I'm trying to protect my peace and my energy. And I
Yeah.
just need to let go of that fucking guilt.
Yeah. And I don't think you're even like holding on to a grudge necessarily. I think you're just setting the boundary. Like you have set the boundary and they're taking that as like, oh, you're holding a grudge. You're doing this. Like, you're
Yeah,
preventing us from
I
having
agree.
this relationship. Like, no, you're setting a fucking boundary. And that's a lot. That's hard work. Like, it's not easy to set a boundary. So kudos to you.
Yeah. And it's interesting because the therapist that I did break up with that I don't like, haha,
Yeah.
she did say that when
Bye.
you set boundaries, she said when you set boundaries that the people who you set boundaries with won't like them and they will
Yeah.
make sure you know that they don't like them.
Yep.
Um, so
And it is what it is.
that's
Got to move on
very,
from that.
it is what it is. All right. Last question. Did you regret anything you did in 2023?
No. And you know what? I never have regrets, honestly. I don't think I have one regret in my life that I can look back on and be like, "Wow, I really should have done this differently." And I know that a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, you have to probably have some regrets in your life." But I think I've always looked at the mindset of like, whatever I'm doing in that moment is because I genuinely think that that's the right thing to do, or I genuinely feel like I wanted to do whatever that thing was. And so I don't regret anything because it all has led me up to this point. I think that, your life is meant to be the way that it's meant to be. And that doesn't mean that like going through those really low fucked up moments are not
Yeah.
insignificant, or they're not hard, or they're not like, why the fuck is this happening to me? Like I can't comprehend what's going on. But it
Hmm.
makes you grow, and it makes you see a different perspective, and you just learn. I mean, you live and learn. I think it's, you might have some mistakes, but I don't really have any regrets. I just live and learn from my mistakes, and I do better, and I do things differently. And I feel like I've lived a very like well-rounded life. I mean, I'm only 29, but like, yeah, have I had some fucked up moments in my life and like some challenges and like things that I had to go through, and especially your 20s, it's just so fucking
Yeah.
up and down. But it's led me
Agreed.
to where I am right now, and I feel very accomplished. I feel secure. I feel positive, and I'm excited to like go into 2024 with a new mindset, and just I feel like there's so much to look forward to in 2024. I'm actually genuinely like really excited about it.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
no regrets. No regrets, baby. We're living.
I am also so excited about 2024. Obviously, I'm getting married.
Yeah.
Um, but did I regret anything in 2023? I will say yes. I've regretted feeding so much energy into my family that is not giving me the same energy that I am in return. I
Yeah.
regret letting them consume me in terms of like their like negative energy and all of
Yep.
that, and them making me feel guilty. And because of that, I haven't been fully present in like the engagement process and everything. But I
Yeah.
also like I want to give myself some grace there though, because it's like I lost my dad this year. So like at the
Yeah.
same time as like I was getting engaged, like my dad fell, he went into the hospital. Like it was a lot. There was a
Yeah.
lot going on. So with that being said, yeah, it's just I regret not fully being present
Yeah.
during this time being engaged, but I also know that there was a shit ton of stuff going on, and I need to
Yep.
just like going forward, try to like cancel out the noise with my family, but I can only, do so much with in regards to like my dad. Like it
Yeah.
was natural for
Yep.
me not to be present during those times.
Yeah, no, very valid. And I think that you have learned a lot over this year of just like, especially family. Like, I feel like family has been like your number one lesson this year. Just like figuring out boundaries, and obviously going with like the ups and downs of family and the drama, and like what you deserve out of family and what family just looks like for you. Like family doesn't have to be your blood relative. Like it can be a friend, it can be anyone that you want to be in your life. And I think that you've like started to redefine what family means to you, and again creating the boundaries and what you're not letting them
Yeah,
do to you moving into 2024. So,
exactly.
let's
And
give
with
some
that,
snaps for us. And with that, the
that's a wrap.
2023 season comes to an end.
That's a
I
wrap.
think I think like, doing our 2023 wrap was a very good idea to Joe. Joe, you came up with this idea, so I love it. And I
Thank you.
think like final thoughts of this episode for me is like, I think I just want to encourage people to do their own 2023 wrapped. Like go through each month and like what was a high, what was a low, what did you learn, what are you grateful for? What are you bringing into 2024? And like just being okay with like the highs and lows of 2023 and just any year moving forward. Like there's so much to be grateful for, and there's so much to maybe, I don't want to say not be grateful for, but like again, just having your lows, but appreciating them and like appreciating where you're at. So, and honestly, this year has been great towards the end. I mean, we started this motherfucking podcast. So thank you for
Yeah.
everyone like who has shared and followed and liked and commented and just have supported us through this like short time that we've started this podcast. I know like we're ending season 1 kind of early, but season 2 is going to be revamped, rebranded, more content, and I'm really fucking excited for what 2024 has in store for us, Joe. Can't wait.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, my thoughts on this episode is, I kind of was, so back up really quickly. I was voice messaging Francesca like a week ago, and I was like, dude, 2023 was wild. It was like either the highest of highs or the lowest of lows for me.
Yeah.
There was no in between. And after doing a wrap, like I totally see that where it was just like I'm either like up here on the top of the moon or I'm feeling really down and I'm going through
Yeah.
it. And I'm really glad that we ended up doing a wrap because I also had to go through like my phone and look at like the photos because I'm a
Yeah.
photo whore, essentially. I
Yeah.
take so many fucking photos of everything
Yep.
I do. But I'm
Yep.
glad I do because then I was like, oh, like I did this. I forgot I did this. And
Yeah.
it's really,
Memories.
really cool. And one thing I do want to put out there is that I know like right now on like TikTok and Instagram, like they're doing those trends where it's like post the best moment of 2023. And for myself, like I'm looking back and I'm like, I can't like think of one best moment because
Yeah.
it was so all over the place and I lost my dad and part of me is like how can I have a best moment when I lost
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
dad sort of thing. So I'm just here to say that like if you just fucking survived this year and that you didn't do anything, you didn't have a baby, you didn't get married, you didn't do anything out of the ordinary other than just get by and
Yeah.
go to work and see your friends,
And
that's fine.
live.
That's
Yeah.
fine. You don't need
Yep.
to have the best moment. You could just say like you had an okay year and you got by. And you know what? I think that 2024 will definitely be a big turning page. Like I'm just feeling really good
Yeah.
about the number in general. I don't
Yes.
know.
Oh,
I don't know. It's
same.
giving out good energy.
24 is good for me. I mean, my wedding date is 24. We got married on the 24th. And
Oh,
I'm
I didn't
just
know
feeling
that.
like 24 is just like, it just feels good. It feels good. I think like this was the year of survival for a lot of people. And again, just getting by and just trying to figure out life and how do we, move past 2020. And like, I know it's been 3 years, but it's been a lot. And I think that 2024 is going to be the start of something really good. I feel very confident about 2024 for everyone here. We're sending good vibes, positive
Yeah,
thoughts. And yeah, are we wrapping it up? Are we
that's
wrapping up the episode?
we're
2023 wrapped?
we're wrapping it up. I feel good. I feel confident. Thank you all for being here. We
Yeah.
love you, and we'll see you in the new year.
We will see
Happy
you in the
holidays.
new year. Holy shit. Happy holidays and do you, be you, love you, for you. I had to throw that out there one last time. I need a new
Hmm.
slogan for 2024.
You do. And that needs to be
I
left in the
know it's
past. All
just
right.
I had to leave it.
I know.
All right, besties, we love you and
Bye.
happy new year. Happy holidays. Toodles.